Hey everyone, I'm Michael Seiger, publisher of DomainSherpa.com, and this is the Domain Sherpa Review. This is the show where we get into the minds of successful domain name investors using real examples so we can learn strategies and tactics. Our sponsors include nichewebsites.com, a service that builds and ranks websites so you can focus on your business. Estabot.com, a domain name appraisal tool that we use on this show to gather data about all the domains we discuss. And DNX.com, a reverse auction domain name marketplace where buy it now prices decrease over time. All three sponsors have links in the upper right hand corner of all pages on DomainSherpa.com. We have three sections to the show. First, we'll review an investor submitted domain name portfolio to discuss and value. Next, we'll look at a marketplace list from namejet.com. And finally, we'll wrap it up with our available or registered or name that price game. Joining us today on the Domain Sherpa Review are four past Sherpas and thought leaders. In order from left to right, we have Adam Dicker, CEO of dnforum.com, nichewebsites.com, and publisher of theartofthename.com. Michael Berkens, publisher of thedomains.com, co-founder of Right of the Dot, and founder of the marketplace mostwanteddomains.com. Paige Howe, founder and president of joedomains.com and domainoutlet.com. And Rick Schwartz, the domain king and co-founder of the Traffic Domain Industry Conference. We're going to move right into the first section. In the domain portfolio review, we take user-submitted domain name portfolios and provide honest and constructive feedback to the owners. If you're watching this show on YouTube, click on the link in the description to see the lists of domains we're discussing on today's show. Today's theme was selected by last show's Name That Price winner, Rick Schwartz. So today we're reviewing Bitcoin and currency-related domain names. We're going to shorten today's show by only asking the Sherpas to review 5 domain names that they like maximum. If the Sherpas only like a couple, they'll only talk about a couple. And only 5 domains that they drop. So we want to sort of polarize the domain list, what's really good and what's definitely worth dropping. Now remember, because one Sherpa loves or hates a domain name doesn't necessarily mean that it won't sell or it doesn't have value. Sherpas disagree all the time on domain name valuations. But if one or more of the Sherpas would drop one of your domain names, listen to what they say and think about it. We're going to start today with Mike Berkens, and then we're going to move on to Adam, Paige, and Rick. The list starts with 24x7remit.com, 24x7remit.com, and ends with wanauction.com. Mike, which up to 5 domain names do you like? Why? And what would you set the retail price at if you owned them?
I think I came up with 4, actually. Okay. Starting from the top, best exchange rate. Probably good for, it's obviously good for money exchange. I think it's maybe a $5,000 domain kind of thing. Going forward, the next one I get to is GSET. It's sort of a pronounceable 4-letter domain. I think it could sell. I certainly could sell for 10-ish, more or less, depending on who holds it and who wants it, but it's definitely worth a few bucks. Rub.com would be good for, besides adult, it would be good for maybe like a steak rub or something something along the food line. That's, it's a one word, it's 3 letters. It's something I would probably want in 6 figures. Would ask for something in the 6 figures. The last one, that's not bad. It's not something I would go after on a drop or even try to buy, but since it's on the list, rupee.in, IN is the country code for India, rupee is the official currency. I have no idea really what it's worth. I don't own any .in domains, but it would seem like it's worth something. The drop list was much harder to carve down to 5. But starting at the top, I'm going to go with 24x7remit. I don't know what to say about that. I don't really like anytime remit either. Not really big on Bukat Bitcoin, number 20 on the list. 25 coin appraisal. Appraisal is spelled wrong, so it dropped that. and Rapid Us Cash. I don't know. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't sound good. I mean, there's a lot of names that definitely would fall in that category. Last question you asked.
What if it's Rapid US Cash? Makes no difference?
Rapid US Cash?
Yeah.
I just don't like it. Don't get it. I mean, it's probably not the worst. There's probably worse, but there's plenty of worse here. So, and the trademark, I didn't really see that much. I mean, iMoneyPhone kind of stuck out to me as a possible one. I don't know what Got Pips is. I mean, Got Pipes maybe would be good for, that's a good saying for a vocalist. And really the rest, Bucks.tv isn't horrible. And that's, crypto, clothing, I mean, there is such a thing. So that's also not terrible. And that's pretty much what I got.
Okay, so Rub.com is included because the owner said that RUB is the currency, the ruble. It stands for Russian ruble. So that's why we included that one, if anybody's wondering. So GSET, best exchange rate, .com, Rub.com, and rupee.in you liked. And the bestexchangerate.com, that one strikes me as a very last year or a couple year ago domain name, Mike, where people bought these long-term search phrases and tried to optimize them. Are you thinking that that's the best use of the domain name today, or would some exchange rate company try and build a site? Or who's an end user for a domain like that, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's brandable. I mean, certainly people exchange money all the time. They're looking for they're looking for the best exchange rate they can get. So I think it still works. I don't think it's sort of a made-up term that just has a bunch of keywords in it. Yeah. I think the right order, it works, it makes sense. So I like it.
All right. Sounds good. Let's go on to you, Adam. What 5 domain names do you like on the list?
I'm with Mike on this. I originally asked you before we went on air if we were being punked by this list, and you said no, it was a real list. I don't think we should let Rick pick categories anymore.
He's barred. Officially barred.
Because this is pretty bad. So, I mean, what do I like? This was like looking for a needle in a haystack. I'll stick with Bitcoin Exchange, Bitcoin Price Quote. Bitcoin Wallet isn't bad, even though it's a co.nz or NZ. Currency Converter, not bad. And Rub, obviously. And then I like the Money Agent because it's good for a cashing check agency.
All right, you picked a bunch of Bitcoin ones right there.
Well,
Bitcoin
just because
Exchange.
Most of it there is here. I mean,
what would you put? How do you value those? Clearly, you're picking them because Bitcoins are hot right now. Bitcoins are closed down. They're, everything in the news about Bitcoin.
There's been some good sales of Bitcoin-related domain names.
What would you price these at if you owned them?
I don't know. I wouldn't.
If somebody approached you, if you own Bitcoin Exchange rate, or bitcoinexchange.ca or bitcoinpricequote.com, and you had plans to maybe use them, what would you price them at if somebody approached you?
I mean, you'd be lucky to get. Well, there is a big Bitcoin exchange company here, so you'd be lucky to get 1,000 or 2,000 right now. Mm-hmm. It could go up depending on how well Bitcoin does in the long term, but I mean, this was a had-to-pick list, so I picked. But I'm like Mike, I wouldn't have registered any of these except Rub.com because of its value. It's a 3-letter.com, and it's a word that makes sense. Mm-hmm. But none of these would I consider buying. Maybe a couple for reg fees. That's about it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And if you had to pick, a couple or a few to drop that definitely, beyond all others, these are the ones to get rid of. What advice would you provide? I don't really understand what
24/7 remit is either. I don't know what Bitcoin Cheetah is. And then there's BitMint. I don't know what that is, MINTH. And the Coin Appraisal, which is spelt wrong. It's an uprisal, which is what we had before the show. Mm-hmm. I don't know what Coiny is, COINI. Internet, it's iCurrency, I guess, is what they're trying to get at. And Hot Dollar doesn't sound like a very serious business domain to set up on. So and moneytips.me, I don't know if that domain suits a .me because your money tips they're not specifically for you if you're posting them, but yeah. So I don't know. There's a few. There's not much I can find on here that's really good.
So you don't like very many of them at all, except for maybe Rub.com. and those are the ones that you would definitely get rid of if you owned them.
Who wouldn't like a nice rub.com? I mean,
Yeah, I would take rub.com. Paige Howe, let's go over to you.
Back, of course.
Can you name 3 to 5 domain names you like, why you like them, and what the retail price would be if you listed them for sale on your marketplace?
Yeah, I mean, I think rub.com is an outlier by far. I would go the massage angle. You know, it's kind of a different word for getting a massage, getting a rub, and you know, it's just easy to remember across all kinds of languages. Great name, premium name, you know, great name. So I'll take that one out because I don't think the highest and best use would be to be a ruble-oriented site. Right. The 3 I like that no one else did are Coiny. I actually like it. I mean, but again, this is kind of like I'm on a game show and I've got $500 left on a gift card and I've got to spend it to buy something on this list. So, I mean, that's the level that I'm going through, similar to maybe Adam saying, you know, would he reg anything? So Coiny, I mean, I'd buy it for reg fee or maybe the drop fee. Just because it's 5 letters, it has to do with coins, and it's kind of cute. So Cashter, I'm a big fan of the stir names. I think you borrow prestige from everyone who's gone before you and has used the stir ending. So whether it's trading money, trading goods, trading something, I like that name. And if it was friendly priced, I'd buy it. Then professional dealers is 2 really good keywords that go together. Although I can't really tell you what a great way to use it would be, but at least it's 2 pretty strong words, which set it better than everything else. And the last one, iVirtual currency, I like the I words. And then old cash, again, I'm stretching to find something that I'd pay $20 for if I had to spend $20.
So did you mention pricing? What would you price coini.com at if it was on your marketplace?
Well, if I was selling, I'd put it
if you owned it and were selling it.
Yeah, I'd put it at $5,000.
What about
cash?
Drop
it in 3 years. So, I mean, it would just be the idea that if someone fell in love with it, I'd want them to pay up. I don't think there's any price I could go low enough to make someone buy. You know, I couldn't say $4.99, $3.99, $2.99, $1.99. I mean, if someone didn't like it, they're not going to like it, you know, based upon me lowering the price. So if they were going to like it, then I'd put it up there. I'd put Cashter at, you know, $29.99, almost $3,000. I'd put iVirtual currency at $1,500. Old cash, I'd put at $1,500. But again, they'd be hopers. You know, they would be hopers.
You said you liked Cashter for if it was a friendly price domain name. What would you buy it for? You willing to make an offer right here online?
Oh yeah, you know, I would probably insult the person if I made an offer, but
because you'd want it at wholesale value.
They have to get rid of it, or they want to trade something in my portfolio. Have them call me up, and I'll trade them.
All right, call up Paige Howe. You can find them through joedomains.com. Rick, Paige, before we go on, Paige, talk about a few domain names that you clearly see no value in and would drop if you owned.
Well, if you pick a great term like Bitcoin, and then you pick words that are like the 1,000th best word that go with it, that's not a good idea. And if you have a 3-word, then you're so far away from the ultimate name that I would just encourage guys, you know, Bitcoin Cheetah. Oh my gosh, it's brandable. Yeah, it's brandable if 50,000 other words after Bitcoin were gone that you could get for reg fee. So, you know, I would just encourage people to only go in the direction of adding a good adjective or verb to your name if it's an adjective or verb that has great keyword value or has been used in the past. But just to come up with one, I don't know if that works. All these other ones, alternative monies with the M-O-N-I-E-S. Yes, it's grammatically correct, but it just looks weird. Got pips, I don't know what they are. Fulus, I don't know what they are. The Bitcoin with the hack of the online Bitcoin. So now you've taken Bitcoin, you've added a word, and then you've hacked a 2-word, and you're so far away, you're like, hello, where's the value? You know, you're just so far away. Now, if you could hack Bitcoin, that would be awesome. Or if you could hack cryptocurrency, like with the CY, I think that's a good spot to be in the hacks. But I think they're too far away, and I just have to keep saying, get greedy, shoot for better. Put these on a list and say, I can get these anytime I want to. So if I have to buy something, I'll get these. And then spend a half hour trying to get something twice as good. So that's my encouragement to the viewers out there.
All right. Thanks, Paige. Rick, let's go over to you. Is there anything on the list that you like?
Well, I still like the hello from Dave. That's great, because that is kind of it. It's like, if there's nobody there, you got nothing to sell and nobody to sell it to. You're so far off the reservation. Anyway, okay, I'll bid $1 more for Castor than Page.
All right, so you like that one.
Yeah, see, and Page is right. See, that's a brand that it's not a trademark infringement. You're hooking your horse to someone else's horse that's already kind of plowed a little bit of a brand, and you're adding the word cash to it, which is a pretty good keyword. That's a great domain name.
So that's why you like Castor.com better than Bitcoin Cheetah. Even though they're both brandable, you're saying the fact that Castor already has sort of the mind recognition from the stir domains that have come before it that cause it to be worth more value.
The reason Mike Berkens has the domains is because American Express did the card for so many years, and that was the great, really, advertising thing. 1-800 the card was the single biggest advertising of the era, so it became the whatever. And this is the same thing. When you can hook your horse up to someone else's brand, that's why .com is a brand, okay? It's a brand. It's all part of the brand. You want to be part of the gravy train that's already on the tracks and not trying to lay a new gravy train on new tracks that may never go anywhere. Hello!
Mike, you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to using, words that are used in commerce or language or, or pop culture in the proper order. So, yeah, I agree with that.
All right. Rick, what else do you like besides Castor.com and Outbidding Page?
It's all prefix on it. It's just, anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, obviously Rub.com is without doubt the best domain on the list. Shouldn't even be on the list. It's a great domain name. It's worth a lot of money. And you can do all kinds of stuff with it. It could be anything you want. I mean, that's a great domain name. Okay, so now we did that. We did Castor. The worst one on the list is probably Bit-Coin Wallet. Like I always say, if you're going to do dashes, you got to do dashes. You can't half a dash, man. Half a dashes don't work. It's the worst thing you can do is a half a dash domain name, man. Talk about confusion. So I really don't like that one. Sorry. Let's see, ones that I like. You're really putting me on the spot here. Okay, I think I hit the ones I like. I mean,
all right. You want to name a couple that clearly make no sense at all? You just mentioned Bit-Coin wallet. What if it were Bitcoin-wallet? Would you register that one?
Yeah, that one's much better. That works. See, Bitcoin-wallet, fine. That works. But Bit-Coin without another dash between wallet, that's a no-go for me at all.
No value at all.
Zero. Sorry. I mean, look, anyone can build anything on anything, okay? But at the end of the day, do you want wind at your back or spit in your face? It's a pretty simple decision.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't go there. Let's see, the Bitcoin Exchange.ca. I'm not a CA guy, but obviously that's a very good domain name. Probably one of the better ones on the list. Bucks TV wasn't that terrible, just a short .tv name, so not horrible. I keep looking at this debit line, and only because, you have credit line, which is obviously a major term, and I wonder if they could ever become a debit line. I don't know, so that could be interesting. I think that's I think maybe CoinSmart, I mean, that could be brandable. I mean, that's something with the different coins. I can see a value in a something with CoinSmart, because here I'm looking and there's Bitcoin and I hear there's all these other coins and I'm confused. Okay, so CoinSmart could be a directory to explain to morons like me what the difference is and maybe what the rates are and which ones are stronger and better than the others and so forth and so on. So I can see a business there, and really most of the others I don't see anything in. I just just because you have words and and an extension doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah. All right. So let me ask you about the domain name hacks that you brought up. There's two of them, I think, on the list. There's nofiatco.in and there's onlinebit.co.in. So no fiat coin and then online Bitcoin. Rick, you said unless you're getting the keyword like Bitcoin as the hack, so bitco.in, it's not worth buying. Did I understand you correctly?
No, I just figured out what the hell you were talking about, man. See, that's the damn problem. That's cute. When you get cute, the problem is there isn't someone on the shoulder of the 7 billion people in the world to say, "Oh, this guy is being cute. You got to look at it like that." I didn't know what the hell you were talking about until I'm looking and looking. And
yeah,
I'm a simpleton, man. The average, education in this world is like 6th grade. Okay. It's cute, but I wouldn't go 3 words. I mean, it's like if you want to do co.in, then that's it. co.in, it's coin. That's it. Anything else, when you forget about it, man.
Yeah.
No! It's really got to yell. Give me a megaphone for that one, baby.
What does everybody else think? Are these multi-word domain hacks a waste of money?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, definitely. I mean, especially with 700 new extensions coming. I mean, I see, even like .land, I see a lot of like hacks that people have registered, like green.land, which isn't so bad, but then you get things like Coney.land, so Coney land. I mean, who's going to buy that? I mean, what is the point of it? Who's going to buy it? I mean, it just, and there's so many.
But I like the domain, Mike. That's why I registered it.
All right, Adam, do you think that there's no value? So I want to hear from Adam and Paige. Paige, you were just talking. Is there any value in these 2 domain names that have multiple words as a domain hack?
No. To me, no.
Okay. And Paige, did you say yes or no?
I said no.
Okay. All right. Hey, finally, Adam, we've talked before we started recording that all of us agree that every week we're reviewing a user-submitted list, and the lists aren't getting better. People are still registering a lot of domain names that you as Sherpas do not see value in. What's your advice for registrant of domain names on the list that didn't get mentioned today, either positively or negatively? What should people take away from today's discussion?
Well, first, I don't know why I was the one singled out for this, but I'll answer anyway.
That's really nasty of you, Adam. I can't believe you say
exactly.
that.
And I was the quiet one, but okay.
After last week, I know you're not afraid. You're not holding your tongue.
We weren't here last week, but anyway. You were in Hawaii, which is why you gave us this crappy list today. Anyway, so what do they need to do? I think all of us have found out that get calls from users or buyers or domainers that are starting out or that think they're really good. We're all finding the same thing, that people are watching the show, but they're still not listening. So the main thing I can tell them is, you're hearing the show, but you're not listening, you're not taking our advice. The best thing you can do is hear it and actually take the advice and actually follow the advice, because the lists aren't getting any better. And some of us on the panel are getting, not annoyed, but aggravated that it seems to be a waste of time because the lists aren't getting any better.
Yeah. All right, so take the advice and try and internalize it. Try and think about it is what Adam's suggesting. We're going to move on to the page.
I think sometimes what we may have, too, is people hearing the category and thinking, I'm going to go out and hand-read something that the guys are going to say is worth $5,000, and that's how I'm going to make, a bunch of money. And I think if we were going to have a free registration contest, that would be great. But the reason a lot of these names were available is you have to admit no one bought them for the last 7 years. So there's kind of like a social gaming aspect in the domain world. All the public's minds are hitting the system every day saying, I want to buy this, I want to buy this, I want to buy this, I want to buy this. And yes, we know they make mistakes and they leave great names open, but it's a pretty good indicator of what the world thinks as to what the world's registered. And you have to respect it, that if a name's available, we do a lot of free regs, but every time I say to myself, no one wanted this for the past year or 2 years. And I just think that's a worthwhile thing to mention. If you're doing expired domains, you're looking in the trash. You're in a trash bin, looking through the trash bin. Now, sometimes people throw out nice stuff, but you have to remind yourself of why the stuff's available is because no one wanted it. So,
all right, good input. We're going to move on to the marketplace list. This section is sponsored by NameJet, and we'll be reviewing a handful of domain names head into auction soon that are around the Bitcoin and currency theme as well. The links below are to the domain names on NameJet. They're not commission links, they're just trackable so NameJet can see traffic we're sending. The list starts with bitcoincoach.com and ends with tradewithbitcoins.com. Rick, let's start with you. What do you like on the list and why?
Well, I see we have Cheetah's cousin Gorilla on the list.
Now, do you like Bitcoin Gorilla better than Bitcoin Cheetah?
I think we should use the donkey in this one. Mike, you better start with me.
Oh my gosh.
Mike,
all
you
right.
better come to me. Cause
I think we might need to. All right, Rick, I'm putting you on hold. We're going to go over to Adam. Adam, what do you like on the list?
Well, first, I think Rick really screwed us with his picking of current online currencies. But Bitcoin Coach isn't bad. It's not horrible if you're actually going to teach people about Bitcoin, but it's certainly not a domain any of us would invest in. Trade with Bitcoin. Trade with Bitcoin is not bad. Trade with Bitcoins. The rest of them are just crap. I mean, and I mean, we should just, if we want an animal, we should just set up bitcoinass.com.
All right.
I mean,
Paige, let's go over to you. What are you taking problem with? With respect to what Adam's saying?
So I like Bitcoin Coach, the only one I like, and the problem is we just haven't had a great fair use exploration in domain names. So, the idea is if the Bitcoin Foundation wants to enforce their trademark, they can say that I made an inappropriate registration because I have the word Bitcoin in there. But I can go write a book called What to Do with Bitcoins, and I can put the word Bitcoins in the title of my book, and I can talk about Bitcoins in the whole book, and it's fair use. And again, Mike's the trademark attorney, but I mean, the idea is that I'm not trying to trick anybody. I'm talking about Bitcoin. So there's a sense that if we could get some type of evolution of fair use in domains, that if I was a person who coached specifically on something called Bitcoin, that I should be able to be Bitcoin Coach, and that's not an inappropriate registration. But what we have is a UDRP system that really doesn't have anything to do with trademark law, and then we've got a trademark law system that doesn't have anything to do with domains. So, it's a tricky deal. I think it'd be better to brand yourself something and then buy the domain name and be a Bitcoin Coach, but always have something else to fall back on. But I would want to be able to answer the question, at the moment you registered the domain name, were you in this business? And that's where it's hard for me as a speculator to answer that question truthfully, that yes, I was a Bitcoin Coach the day before I bought this domain name. So I have to sit there and say I'm a domain speculator that's buying it for resale. So, it would be tough if I ever really went up against someone who knew what they were doing. So it's the only one I liked. I would probably buy it if I could get it, cheap. I mean, under $200. But I would always know in the back of my mind that I'd have this problem with fair use and the UDRP kind of not really, coinciding with each other.
so I figured out, Mike, if we want to cut these things a little shorter, we're going to have to cut Paige's mic early.
Hey, Mike, what do you think when people refer to you as a trademark attorney?
I think that I'm not. So, as far as the domains go, I mean, there was, I think during the challenge week, I didn't register. I caught on a drop for $69. I was the only one who should back order it. The name pinkcoin.com.
Yep.
And I think it's better. I'd rather have that than all of the Bitcoin names on either of the two lists combined.
You'd rather have pinkcoin.com rather than dashcoin.com?
Or Gorilla Coin or Monkey Gorilla.
What's the difference between pinkcoin.com and dashcoin.com? They're both four-letter words before the coin. It could be some alternate currency that comes out.
They could. I mean, I think Pinkcoin is particularly interesting because of the the pink and the affiliation with the breast cancer and the ability to maybe tie it into the charity. and to give some part of the money to the breast cancer research, foundations, and I think that's workable. I don't know what Dashcoin means.
Yeah. So you're not hanging your hat on just some brandable. There's some association with it, just like the Caster.com versus, some other cash brandable domain name. You're saying there's something that has already developed the light that goes on in people's heads when they view something that's pink.
Yes, for sure. I think we all get it. I think 90% of the U.S. population associates the color pink with breast cancer.
Yeah.
And fundraising for it. So to cure it.
Would that be the group that has a maximum of a grade 6 education, according to Rick?
Ready, shut up.
Oh, that was for his dog, not you, Adam. All right, Rick, we're going to come over to you. Do you have anything else to contribute to this portfolio?
Probably not very constructive. Just the Bitcoin zoo is all I can say as we go into the Bitcoin zoo.
All right.
Nothing that hasn't been said.
Yeah.
I think Rick's review can be summed up by extreme laughter. And we should note that on huge domains, they are currently selling for $2,495. Shitcoin.com. Definitely a brandable.
Definitely brandable. All right, Sherpas, we're going to enter the lightning round. Instead of our registered or available game where you guess whether the domain name has been registered or is available, we're going to play Name That Price again. But here is how it's going to work this week. I named 3 domain names that sold within the past 12 months. They did sell within the past 12 months. You each write down the price that it sold at, what you think an end user would pay for that. The closest answer, either above or below, wins. We're going to use dnjournal.com as our source of information. Everybody understand the rules?
Yeah, but I'll have to put them up at once. No more $1 bidding crap, right?
Right. You're all going to put them up at once, so don't say your price out loud. I'm going to name the city price.
You have to do
Don't
a
look at
countdown.
Paige's screen.
All right, we're ready.
All right.
Let's
The
go.
first up, citymd.com, as in city could be Maryland.com, city could be doctor, the MD. CITYM as in Mary, D as in David.com. CityMD.com. Write down your price. That sold within the past 12 months. What do you think it sold for? And when
Can we
you're
get a
ready,
countdown?
everybody ready?
Ready.
Yeah.
Hold up your numbers. Adam has got 6K. Is that right?
5K, 5K.
5K. Mike has 3.5K. Paige is going with his 13.5, and Rick said 3,500. The correct answer is $45,000. Yeah, what the heck is going on? Why would somebody pay $45,000 for citymd.com? What do you guys think?
Um,
Because that's what it's worth to them.
Right.
I mean, we're still talking about that being $4,500 a year for 10 years or $400 a month, and the guy's ready to go. He's got a business plan that's going to make millions of dollars, and he's not going to sit there and say, "Oh, I want to find something on GoDaddy tonight for $1,699." He got what he wanted. He paid up. He got it. He went. He's gone.
But
all right, Paige, you won that one, buddy.
Yeah, Paige got the W there. But the average of you four is probably right around $5,000. Maybe Paige skewed it up to $6,000. If the average is $6,000, that means that you guys would probably price the domain name maybe 75 or 100% higher than what you thought you could sell it for. And so money would have been left on the table. What advice do you have for people who would probably price it about 10K and then sell it at 5 or 6K, and this person who sold it was able to get 45K? Like, how does that even work?
The simple advice is, first of all, like they're all saying, is the buyer dictates the price, but you can also determine the range based on how badly the buyer wants the domain. So you have to I spend a lot of time researching a buyer before I even respond. And sometimes if I'm trying to get their correct email address and they send me a Gmail, I'll say, no, I don't take this seriously. Send it from your regular email. And then they will, and then I can go on LinkedIn and I can capture their company information and why they're really interested. So you have to research the buyer as well, and you have to figure out. You also have to research the industry and see if there's anything going on right now in Maryland with doctors or with whatever it is. I mean, it could be doctor. I mean, it could be city doctor instead of. It probably is city doctor instead of city Maryland.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, city doctor.
So city doctor is still, it's a pretty good that's a really good brandable. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think we priced it wrong based on what we would do with it, and we don't need it as badly as this customer does.
Yeah. All right, let's move to the next one. It is a keyword domain name, whereas our first one was a brandable. This one's a keyword. The keyword is wooddecking.com. Wooddecking.com. Paige, don't hold up your answer yet. People are going to cheat.
Oh, I haven't said what currency yet.
I'm assuming the currency is dollars. I will add that to the rules.
Rupees.
All right. Rick, are you ready? Hold up your numbers, boys. Rick's got 30K. Paige has 13.5. That's a new number. Mike's got 5K. Adam has 5K.
5K.
All right. So two of you guys thought 5K. Paige had 13.5K, and Rick had 30K. The correct answer is $20,000, which means that Paige Howe is again correct with his 13.5.
This just goes to show you don't need a lot of knowledge to win this game.
Wood decking. So wood decking, why would two of you, and I probably would have said the same thing, why would two of you think that it was around $5,000?
Because that's the maximum that I'd be willing to even come close to, maybe a fifth or a half of that to buy it for myself. Because I'm not in the wood decking business.
Well, but these are end user sales, assuming, and
but we're still looking at it as what would we pay for it as a buyer, or what would we sell it for as a buyer. So I would sell it for around 5K if I didn't know anything about the buyer that I was selling it to.
Yeah, Mike, would you sell it for 5K?
I mean, probably I wouldn't probably sell it at 5K, but probably would sell it more like a 20K. But I mean, what I would buy it for would probably be, I think it's worth like 5K ish. But I mean, like DU, right? That's sold for $1 million.
Right.
Right. So, I mean, so again, it depends on who the buyer is and what the domain owners need for cash is. So that's the variables.
Mr. Siger, is I know a guy who prices all of his domains at $100,000. He doesn't sell that many, but he sells about 5 to 6 a year, and I always think he's an idiot because some of them aren't worth that. But he proves that I may be the idiot because he still gets it for it on some of them. That wouldn't even be close to it. That none of us would think we're close to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Rick, why did you think it was worth $30,000?
Well, like Paige was saying before, if you have a wood decking business, it's a no-brainer. I mean, really, it is such a small expense for a business. And if he wants to be the go-to guy in wood decking, there's only one way to do it. Bingo. And I just don't think it's a big expenditure. 30 grand for an end user. I mean, I'm not going to spend 30 grand on it because I'm a domainer.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna spend a couple of grand or 5 grand or 3 grand because I'm going to sell it for 30 or 50 or 150 or whatever I'm going to sell it for. You know, that's.
As the winner, I'll tell you why I think it was worth.
Go for it. Why is it worth 13.5 or the actual 20K?
Yeah, I mean, so the market size of that business starts at 20 million, and maybe it's 800 million, and if globally it's $1 billion. So yeah, I mean, if you're trying to get one guy in Ottumwa, Illinois, or someone to buy it for his shop, and you need $900. You might sell that domain for $900. And on the other hand, if you get the president of a large multinational, then you can ask more. And that's the level that we're at in the market. Is domains are over-owned by domainers.
Yep. And
domainers that need to sell are going to sell less. And when corporate demand comes in with a strong holder, you're going to see those type of prices. So that's what gives me the encouragement that we're still exploring the upside of what domains are worth.
All right. Paige has pretty much got a lock on the win for today. We're going to go to the last one, and we'll see if Paige can three-peat.
I don't think so.
What'd you say, Adam?
I don't think he can.
You don't think he can? All right.
No.
Next up, final domain of the day. It's another brandable. Anydesk.com. 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 Write down your price in U.S. dollars, please, Paige Howe, and for what it sold for. Assume it's an end user. All right, hold them up. Paige has got 13.5K. Mike Berkens has, what is that, 2.5K, Mike?
Yes, sir.
All right. Adam has 3.6?
Hold on, 13,601.
13,601 for Adam. And, Rick is going for 13.5 also.
I learned. Listen, I'm a quick learner. I mean, I see the guys doing good.
Took 4 tries, man. 4 tries.
All right. All right, so the answer is $8,003. $8,003. And I think, let's see, 2.5K minus 8,003 is 5,000. I think,
2-1.
I think Mike, wait a
This
second.
game really stinks.
I gotta actually get out my calculator here.
What did you guess, Mike? 3,500?
No, 2,500. Is that 20?
So
2,500, I think.
Doesn't matter. He won. There was nobody lower.
No. It's
I want to find out who was closest.
Right.
54. Oh, Paige. I should have just said that. Paige and Rick got a tie on the last one. Adam was $1 off from that. Yeah, I saw that, Rick. You both won that one. But Paige is the overall winner.
I defer to Paige.
All right.
I'm pricing all my names at 13.5 now.
All right. I've got a bunch of questions from people who submitted domain names this week and people from last show. So I've got those. Any other topics you want to discuss in the after show today?
Yeah, I get to pick the submission category for next week.
Well, I don't know. We may not be doing this show next week, Paige. We may mix it up.
Okay.
So let me get with you after the show and figure out what we're going to do. You get something. Maybe it's a gift card. All right. So any topics you want to discuss? You want to talk about new TLDs in the after show?
Why don't we talk about Uniregistries first?
Uniregistry. I want to talk about Uniregistry also because I hear that they have a
I have a list of topics. So I want to talk about that's the wrong list. I want to talk about definitely the new GTLDs.
Yep.
I want to talk about, if anybody wants to talk about ones that they bought, just a couple here and there, and how we view people already posting some of these for sale. And if they think there's a quick flip on these, which I don't.
Yeah.
And then maybe we can give them a tip as to what we're doing on Monday, Michael.
Sounds good. Paige, any topics you want to talk about in the after show?
.LA.
.LA, baby. I do love LA. Rick, any topics in the after show you want to discuss?
Well, when I went down to the mines a few weeks ago, and I got those domain names. Before I did that, I put a bid in at a namejet auction because I was just going to get one name, and I lost the auction by a few $100s, and I guess the guy didn't fulfill it, and I ended up winning the auction the other day, and I got TravelKing.com for $5,100. So now I'm the Domain King and the Travel King.
Should have applied for .king, my man.
Yeah, I don't think so.
All right, Rick, I'm going to ask you in the after show if you've sold any of those domain names and ask you what the process is for that. But hold that. If you received benefit from today's show, please post a comment below and thank the Sherpas. I want to thank the 70-plus people and investors who submitted their Bitcoin and currency-related domain names. I hope you take the advice given today to heart and really internalize it and try and think about it and figure out how you're going to improve your purchasing in the future. Thanks to NameJet for submitting their portfolio and sponsoring the Domain Sherpa Review. Thanks again to our Domain Sherpas for sharing their experience and insights. I learned something today. I know that every person watching this show learned at least one thing today. And thanks for contributing, Sherpas. Click below to watch the after show discussion, and we'll see you next time.